Welcome. Today, we're talking about something you probably use every single day, your phone. But we're going to look at it in a whole new way, as a powerful tool that's unlocking economic potential for millions of people all over the world. We're talking about digital money, and trust me, it's about so much more than just convenience. It's really about financial inclusion. So let's get right into it.
So, I want you to think about this for a second. What if your phone was your bank? For a lot of us, our phone is already, a key to our financial lives. But imagine if, for millions of people, this little device wasn't just an accessory to their bank. What if it was their first and only bank? That's the incredible revolution we're digging into today.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll break down what financial inclusion actually is. Then we'll look at how technology is throwing the doors wide open, what new tools people have at their fingertips, how all that access turns into real opportunity, and finally, the amazing ripple effect this has on the entire economy.
All right, before we jump into the solution, we've got to really understand the problem. So what exactly do we mean when we say financial inclusion? It's a lot more than just having a bank account.
It's really this simple but incredibly powerful idea that everyone, and I mean everyone, no matter who they are or where they live, should have a fair shot at accessing useful and affordable financial tools. We're talking about everything, from payments and savings to credit and insurance. It's the absolute bedrock of economic stability and growth.
Okay, so if that's the goal, how in the world do we get there? For decades, that door to the financial system was just slammed shut for so many people. But now, technology is basically blowing it right off its hinges.
Just look at this contrast. It's like night and day. The old way meant you had to find a physical bank branch, deal with mountains of complex paperwork, and face all these high barriers to entry. But the digital way? It brings the bank right to you, on your phone, simplifying the whole shebang. This isn't just some minor upgrade. It's a completely different way of doing things. And here's how that actually works. Things like digital KYC, which is just a fancy way of saying know your customer, let you prove who you are from a remote village. You can literally open an account right from your phone. And for people who might need a little help, fintech agents are there, on the ground, acting as a local bridge. All these pieces work together to bring millions into the formal economy.
Okay, so getting access is step one. That's huge. But an account doesn't mean much if you can't do anything with it, right? So the next critical piece of the puzzle is having the right tools to make finance a real, practical part of your everyday life.
Now, this might seem like a small detail, but it is absolutely massive. For the first time ever, really small digital transactions, like buying some vegetables from a street vendor or paying for a cup of tea, became possible. Before, the fees and the complexity just made it a non-starter. Now, it's incredibly simple.
So what's in this new toolkit? Well, you've got systems like UPI, the Unified Payments Interface, which lets different banks talk to each other instantly. And of course, digital wallets. They're the engines driving this. But it's about more than just spending. These tools help build financial health through things like microsavings and setting up recurring payments, helping people build wealth literally one small step at a time.
And this is where it all really comes together. Having access and having the tools, that's great. But the real magic, the part that changes lives, is when those two things combine to create brand new opportunities.
I want you to think about this. Every single time you make a digital payment, you're leaving a little footprint, a digital breadcrumb. In the old cash world, that transaction just disappears. But in the digital world, it creates a permanent, verifiable record. It actually tells the story of your financial life.
And that story becomes your key. It's a clear step-by-step path. You start by making digital payments, which builds up that verifiable history. Then, that history is used to create a formal credit score. And this is huge, even if you've never had a loan before in your life. And that score, that's what unlocks access to capital, like microloans to fund a small business, pay for education, or handle an emergency.
The result of climbing that ladder is just profound. It gives people a direct, safe, and regulated alternative to informal and often predatory lenders. This is what empowers individuals and small business owners, giving them actual control over their financial destiny instead of being trapped in these awful cycles of debt.
So, for our last step, let's zoom all the way out, because this isn't just about a bunch of individual success stories. When you bring millions and millions of people into the formal economy, you create this powerful ripple effect that helps lift everybody up.
As our source material puts it so perfectly, economic participation widened across gender and geography. This is so important. The benefits aren't just for one group. This digital bridge reaches from big cities to the most remote villages. And maybe most importantly, it widens participation across genders, giving so many more people a real seat at the economic table.
So we've seen how digital money can just shatter the barriers to access to credit and to real opportunity. And it leaves us with one final really important question to chew on. As this tech keeps evolving, what's the next major barrier that it has the power to break down? Thanks so much for tuning in.